I'm going to be ranking the best power forwards right now in NBA 2K23. My team, we have a tier list here ranking from S that goes all the way down to D tier, and we have about 25 to 28 of the best power forwards in my team. Guys, let me know in the comment section down below who are some of your guys' favorite power forwards to be running right now in the game, and of course, let me know what you guys would change about my tier list. But first power forward here is going to be Pink Diamond Amari Stoudemire. I would say somewhere in that B tier category. Like, he's a very decent power forward. He's 6'10" with a 7'1" wingspan, and he's going to be a really good offensive 4. He's got a 97 driving dunk, 95 standing dunk, which is really good, and going to be able to dunk on a lot of people with Hall of Fame posterizer, limitless takeoff, fast twitch, and that bully badge as well. Being on Hall of Fame is super nice to have. He's also got a 95 vertical, and he's super fast for your power forward with 90 speed and 90 acceleration. You look at the animations, he's got a really good jump shot. I mean, it's actually, I wouldn't say a really good jump shot. He's got a decent jump shot, but he's got some really good dribble sigs. Like, he's got the MJ dribble style, James Harden size up, and the John Wall escape, which, if you guys don't know, these are some of the best sigs in the game, and it's going to be on your 6'10" power forward. So I feel like he's super glitchy and honestly going to be somewhere in B tier. Christian Wood, surprisingly enough, I think is either going to be high B tier or low A tier. I think for now, I'll probably put Wood in that high B tier category. He might honestly be A tier because he is such a good power forward. He's 6'10" with a 7'3" wingspan, and I think he's one of the more underrated power forwards in the game. I like his jump shot a lot more than Amari Stoudemire's. Yes, he's maybe not as good as going to the rim as Amari, but I just think all around he's probably a little bit better than Amari Stoudemire, either in the high B tier spot or the low A tier category. Bam in a bio, honestly, I gotta throw Bam in C tier. I mean, he's still got his jump shot on normal timing, and it's not like he's got a fast release. He's 6'9", so a tiny bit undersized for the power forward position. He is going to be a very good defender though. 95 interior defense, 92 block. I don't think anybody's going to disagree that Bam's a very good defender. It's just offensively, like, his jump shots on normal timing, he doesn't have any good dribble sigs, doesn't have the normal leaner, his 3 balls only an 87. Like, he's just really not that great of an offensive power forward, and defensively, it's not like he's some like 6'11", 7' power forward like a Giannis type defender, where he's only 6'9", and he's such a liability on the offensive end with that jump shot being super slow on normal timing. So for me personally, I'm gonna throw Bam and a bio somewhere in that B tier category. Chris Kaman, I think, is either probably high C tier or low B tier. I mean, he's actually a very solid power forward. Like, if you look at his stats on 2KDB, he's 7 foot, only does have a 6'11" wingspan, but he's a very decent power forward all around. Like, there's nothing too crazy about this card. He doesn't have like crazy defensive stats or badges. He's not like super fast. He's not like amazing at going to the rim, but I just think overall he's a pretty decent power forward with a way better jump shot than a guy like Bam, and his stats wise, I think he's just a little bit more well-rounded. I just wish he had a little bit more speed, only having 80 speed and 80 acceleration. So I think for now, I'll probably throw Chris Kaman somewhere in that low B tier category. Nikola Jokic, 1,000,000% going to be an A tier, and now that I'm thinking about it, he might honestly be in the S tier category. If you guys don't know, S tier is going to be my top 5 power forwards in the game, but I think for now, Jokic probably going to be somewhere in A tier, maybe gets moved up to S tier later in the video. Bob Nedelecki, another really good power forward, 1000% gonna be at least in the A tier category. Like, honestly, if you guys have been watching the comp tournament by DBG and Ty and Splash, those guys playing like the best in the world tournaments, if you guys have been keeping up with that, a lot of people in those tourneys have actually been running Bob Nedelecki, which is very surprising to me. I thought we'd only see, you know, D-Robs, Dinos, Giannis's, KGs, you know, Kristaps's even at the 4, but we've seen a lot of Bob Nedeleckis, and it's rightfully so. He's still got one of the best jump shots in the game with the O-shaper set base and the Tim Duncan up around quick timing. He's actually a very good defender. Like, for a Bob card who's only 6'9" at the power forward spot, you might think he's a little bit undersized and not the best defender, but he's got a 94 block, 94 interior defense, tons and tons of good Hall of Fame defensive badges. I believe it's like 10 or 9 on Hall of Fame, which is crazy for a card who's only 6'9" at power forward. So for me, I think Bob easily going to be in the A tier category. Kristaps Porzingis, even though I think I look at him more as of a center, I still think he's got to be a top 5 power forward in the game, because if you run him at the 4 and Yao Ming at the 5, like, that is just so glitchy, having a 7'3" power forward next to a 7'6" center. So I think for that reason alone, he's got to be somewhere in the top 5 category for obviously power forwards. Like I said, I do look at him as more of a center card. I think most people probably do run him at center, but he can play power forward and he'll be super glitchy there, being 7'3" and obviously one of the best cards in my team. Chet, I think, is probably either low A tier or high B tier. I think he's slightly better than a guy like Christian Wood, so I think for now I'll probably throw Chet in A tier. I don't think he's crazy good like maybe some people do, but I think Chet is very solid. He's gonna be somewhere in that low A tier category. Next power forward is Cliff Robinson. And there was some people that do really like this card. I'm gonna probably go high C tier. Maybe he goes somewhere in that B tier category. I just feel like his stats are kind of I mean, he does have a good jump shot, I will say. Like the Chris Mullin base Kobe Bryant upper is pretty nice on quick timing, but this card just really isn't that great. Like his stats are very average, very mid stats in my opinion. His SIGs are okay, so I think he's probably going to be somewhere in the high C tier spot. Me personally, I would definitely take Christian Wood, Chris Kaman, or Mark Stoudemire over a guy like Cliff Robinson. Anthony Davis also going to be in C tier. He's just another kind of Bam out of Bow card. He's going to be a very good defender. Like he's a really good defensive card, but they both have their jump shots on normal timing, and the releases are super slow compared to most power forward jump shots in the game, and that really does set them back at the power forward position. Once Anthony Davis gets his Dark Matter card, we could see him being a top 3, top 5 power forward, because if he gets a new jump shot on quick timing or very quick, he could have a great jump shot and is still going to be one of the better defenders in the game at the power forward spot. So AD really just needs an update to get his jump shot faster, or a new promo card to come out as a Dark Matter AD, and we could realistically see him being a top 3, top 5 power forward in the game once again, like Anthony Davis mostly is. Looking at Dino, I do think Dino is a top 5 power forward. I like him a little bit more than a guy like Jokic. I like him over Bob. I just think he's super versatile at the power forward position. You guys have probably heard enough of Dino over the past couple of days, but he's just so elite at the power forward or center position. He's 6'11" with an almost 8-foot wingspan, and this card's got some of the best SIGs in the game. Like he's got the Steve Francis size up Kobe escape, he's got that MJ dribble style, he's got a good jump shot with the Donovan Mitchell base, he's a good defender, he can rebound the ball, he can go to the basket, he can knock down threes. Like this card can really do it all, and I do think Dino is going to be a top 5 power forward. Dirk Nowitzki, I think, is just barely going to miss out of being a top 5 power forward. I think Jokic will probably end up being somewhere in my S tier category. I think for now I'm gonna just keep all 3 of these guys, because I think Bob, Dirk, and Jokic are very close at the power forward position, but I think for now I'm gonna just keep them all in the A tier category. But I think 1, maybe 2 of them will go up into the S tier spot. Looking at Dolph Schayes, I kind of want to put him B tier. I don't know. I think he's just that one step below a guy like Bob Nedelecki, because he's only 6'8" and he's really not that good defensively as a guy like Bob. He's just not a good defender, and that's the one thing that does save Bob, because if Bob had Dolph's stats on the defensive end, I don't think Bob Nedelecki would be that crazy of a power forward. It's because they actually gave Bob really good defensive stats and really good Hall of Fame defensive badges. So for that reason, I think Dolph Schayes is probably going to be somewhere in B tier. Next power forward is going to be probably the best power forward in the game, and that is going to be Dark Matter D-Rob. I mean, I don't think I even need to really go over this card. You guys know by now, David Robinson, one of the best cards in my team, and I think easily is the best power forward in the game. Dark Matter Giannis could also be somewhere in the S tier category. I think for now I'm gonna keep him in A tier, because once again, there's just better power forwards in the game in my opinion than a guy like Giannis. I still think he's super versatile at the power forward position. He's one of the best defensive cards just because of his animations, his player model, his wingspan, and obviously his stats and badges. Like the card plays amazing defense. I just wish his jump shot was a lot different. I don't like his jump shot personally, but I still think you got to put Giannis at least in A tier, and maybe will be somewhere in the S tier category. Next power forward is going to be Jaren Jackson Jr., who I think's like a solid B tier card. I think he's just an Anthony Davis or a Bam, but he's an inch taller and he plays a little bit better defense in my opinion, and he's got his jump shot on quick timing and a way better jump shot. So I think Jaren is kind of, you know, what Anthony Davis would look like if his release was on quick timing and maybe had a little bit better stats and badges on the defensive end. So I do think Jaren Jackson Jr. going to be kind of in that mid B tier spot. Kevin Garnett 1000% going to be in the S tier category. Me personally, I would definitely take KG over Jokic, over Dirk, over Giannis, and even Bob Nedelecki as well. I just think his defense is super valuable, a very good defender, has a great jump shot, can move a little bit for your power forward, and just all around I think is a top 5 power forward in the game. Next card here though is going to be Karl Malone. I think he's probably either B tier or A tier. I'm gonna throw him in B tier for now. When he first came out, I thought Karl Malone was a really good power forward, but the more that I've used him, it just hasn't really been he hasn't really been in my lineup recently. I would say probably Karl Malone gonna be somewhere in the B tier category. Jonathan Isaac, I think you got to throw on the same level as Giannis. I think they're very similar. I would say Giannis is slightly better at the power forward position just because of his player model, right? His defensive animations he gets in game. He's a little bit wider of a player model. I think he weighs a little bit more as well. I actually quickly want to check that out. Like I think Jonathan Isaac is a little bit not undersized for power forward, but he's only 210 pounds, where if you look at Giannis, I believe he's like 242. So yeah, that's an extra 32 pounds, which really helps with like defensive animations down low, getting those paint stops. So I think a guy like Giannis is just a tiny bit better at the power forward position than a guy like Jonathan Isaac. But Isaac is a lot better at small forward, but you can still run this card at power forward and have a lot of success with him because of his defensive stats and his badges. And overall, Jonathan Isaac is one of the best defenders in the game. Lauri Markkanen, I think, has got to go in C tier. I really don't believe he's that great of a power forward. He's not terrible. Like, even the guys in C tier aren't terrible power forwards. I just think there's so many better power forwards in the game right now that I do think Lauri is going to be in C tier. Moses Malone is a very interesting card because we haven't really seen this card too much. Like, I know JC has a gameplay on him. I've seen a couple other, I've seen him a couple times in game, but I don't know. Like, I mean, it's very hard to tell because he doesn't have the greatest SIGs. He does have a decent jump shot. Carmelo base isn't the fastest, but he's got a decent release and really good stats. I think I got to keep him in A tier. He might be better than maybe two guys in the S tier category. Probably not though. So I'd say Moses Malone, even if we're counting him like as a power forward, I still think he's probably going to be somewhere in the A tier spot. Nate Thurmond is actually pretty underrated. I would say easily B tier. You can even make an argument for S tier. I think he's B tier. You can maybe make an argument for that A tier category. Next power forward is going to be Bobby Portis, who I think is maybe B tier. I would say either low B tier or high C tier. I think he's probably high C. I don't think Bobby Portis is really that good, to be honest. Next power forward is Pau Gasol. Once again, don't think he's really that great of a power forward. I think he might be a little bit better at center. He's just a little bit slow to be playing the power forward position and doesn't really feel to be like a mobile power forward. Spencer Hayward is also pretty undersized. Like, I do believe he's 6'8" and doesn't really have the greatest stats. Like, he's just a terrible defender, only has a 72 3 ball. I'm not gonna lie, Spencer Hayward, he's going in the D tier category. Unless I'm missing something. Like, does he maybe have some crazy, maybe dribble SIGs or crazy jump shot? Like, he's got the Devin Booker base on quick timing, which is nice, but doesn't have crazy SIGs. Like, he's just not a good defender, only a 72 3 ball. Yeah, I think Spencer Hayward, also being 6'8", probably going to be somewhere in my D tier category. And then to round off the tier list, guys, I do think Alex Yi is probably the 5th best. Or is it Giannis? I'm not exactly sure. So let me know in the comment section down below. Out of all of these power forwards in A tier, would you replace Alex Yi in the S tier category? I think Giannis, for me, I think is a little bit better than Yi, but let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about my power forward tier list, and obviously that S tier category as well? But these are going to be my top 5 power forwards: Dark Matter D-Rob, Dark Matter Kristaps, Pink Diamond Dino, Galaxy KG, and to round off the top 5, going to be Dark Matter Giannis. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.